All right, we are online. Leave now. Hi, Lindalva.
Hello. I'll
Hi.
just, yes, hello. We are here now. Let's start.
All right. So this is the our broadcasting. We are live on YouTube, and good night for everybody, or good morning, good afternoon. It depends on the time you're gonna watch this study. So to start today, I will ask you to pray, to make the pray, Lindalva. Could
Yes,
you do
that's
for us?
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let's start with the prayer.
So let's all unite our thoughts, thinking about everyone connected together, even though we are not in the same physical space. But we know we can connect through our thoughts. And let's ask our Master Jesus to be with us, to guide and protect us during this new study that we are beginning today. Inviting our friends, spiritual friends, who may wish to study with us, and asking all of those who can help us with protection and inspiration, that they may do so. And so, as this is our first meeting, we place ourselves in your hands, Lord, so that you can guide and protect us and protect the places where we find ourselves too. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. So this is our first study. So we are very excited and nervous also. So we wish that we can do this for many times from now on. This is before we start to talk about this to proper study. I'd like to say that we are trying to do this for a long time ago. We were in Brazil. We tried to do this study of Genesis and Heaven and Hell books, but for some reason we could not. So right now it's the right time. So we are together. Uh, all the people that are involved right now is it's because they felt the necessity to be together to study these books. Not It's not because the other books are not important. It's because those two books, Heaven, Hell, and Genesis, is the books we need to study also, because Kardec's codification is five. It's composed by 5 books, and we cannot miss any of them. So I'm very happy to start today to study Heaven and Hell. I thank you, Lindalva, for your participation, proactive participation. And I apologize for any technical issues we will find, because as we are starters, many things gonna happen. But as a family, we're gonna just chat, catch up, and discuss all the items inside the books, of course, and bring new ideas and new thoughts, new tips that we can find outside the doctrine, inside the doctrine, and have a frank discussion about the spiritism, frank discussion about all the items we're going to find on those books. So I will pass to you, Lindalva, the words before we start with the book properly.
Yes, I am very happy that we managed to get together to study these books, because I have been studying Spiritism for about 25 years now, and I haven't participated of any study at all who have concentrated on these books. So I'm really happy, apprehensive, and also a bit nervous, because this is it's all new, and but I know we are not alone. We are like protected, and we know our brothers in spirit who are in the spiritual world, who are participating with us, are also part of this new journey with us. And I'm just happy we are starting this new journey, and I hope we are going to learn many new things, and this will enrich our lives and help us to live a better life, physical life, while we find ourselves incarnated in this wonderful world. And I just like, I really have to thank these two of you, Martha and Andre, for, because you have already, as you said, Andre, you also had thought about studying these books, and I'm really glad we found each other. And let's hope that many people will be able to join us too.
Yeah, we have Gueri to be decided. Is someone you invited, Lindalva?
Yes. Is it Gary? Is it Gary? I can't see. Um, Gary is my friend. I invited to join us.
Yes, as much. I'm glad to be a part of it because I'm driving at the moment, but I'm just going to kind of, because I'm in an emergency today, this week, so working, but in the following week, so I'll be full in. But I can listen to what you guys say, but
All right. Okay. So I prepare
I'm
a prepared.
the reception as well is a bit bad as well. So yeah, my drop is slightly. So
Okay. So this is platform is a StreamYard. So we are able to talk whenever you want. So right now we are broadcasting once again to YouTube, and I hope you're comfortable with this. And yeah, that's it. I prepared a small presentation about the book and some thoughts we found together. And we're going to pass through all these items before, some curiosity about the books. And after that, we're going to start the proper book with introduction and all the stuffs that we can find in the Heaven and Hell book. So to start our presentation, so there are some information I thought we thought very important to highlight. This is the fourth codifications book. And Lindalva, whenever you feel comfortable and whenever you want to talk or add some information or curiosity, please feel free. Also, Gary, the same thing. Okay. So I just prepared this with Martha this afternoon, but you are free to add or make any comments. So going ahead, this is the fourth codifications book. We know that this book came out after Spirit's book. That's the first one published by Allan Kardec. The second one was Gospel According to Spiritism. And the third one, the Medium's Book. So the fourth one is the Heavens and Hell. At this point, I'd like to make a comment. So as Kardec is an educator and a professor in an excellent manner, he did the codification in a way that we can find all the information step by step from the beginning until the end. And the last one, the last book is the Genesis, which is a very, very complicated and complex book that we cannot follow up if we not start with the Spirit's book. So it's almost impossible to follow up with the Genesis if we not start with the Spirit's book and pass through the Gospel and the Medium's book. So also in the middle of those three, we have the fourth one, which is the Heaven and Hell book. It's a very interesting name for a spiritist book, because it's something we don't believe in heaven and in hell. Not at the same meaning of the church believed for. So this is very interesting. Do you want to comment, Lindalva?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that this book was launched in August of 1865, and I don't know if Gary, we are studying the Spirit's book together, but I don't know if Gary has heard about Kardec and who Kardec is. So Allan Kardec is he's a French. He was born in France at the time of the codification, and I don't know if you know much about him, Gary, because when you arrived here to study with us, we had already gone through the introduction. But all the Spiritist codification has happened in France.
It has happened in France. I remember watching the film of Allan Kardec, and then I remember it's the mention at the beginning of where it was where he was from.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
How he started. He was a professor. I remember that. I couldn't remember where he's from. I thought it was Spanish, but it's like I kind of misled. But I remember a few things. I need to actually watch it again. Sure.
Okay. Excellent.
So in this case, Allan Kardec's a code name. It's a nickname for Hippolyte Léon de Rizailles, which is the very, very known person in France because of the French grammar and some studies and articles, math articles and studies made by Kardec at the 19th century. So, Kardec, as we know, his attention was called by the spirits and some phenomena that initiate with the all around the world, in US and France, in Belgium. So all over the world, we start to have some phenomenon that Kardec started to study because he thought something is happening, and this thing is very intelligent thing, and to have something intelligent happens, we need to have a intelligent cause. Why we are talking about that? Because if at that time it was some amusement to see all the tables running around, making noise, knocking, and people used to gather together and make some meetings in the middle of the night to try to communicate with the spirits or communicate with something they didn't know. Most of them, they thought that those phenomena was magic or something. It was a show or something that was fake. But Kardec started to watch those phenomena and thought by himself, there's something very intelligent behind this, and I need to know what's going on. So he started to make some more intelligent questions, and the answer was really, really intelligent and made a lot of sense. So that's why Kardec started to the codification of the spirits. So we got the first book, which is the spirits book, with 1,019 questions. The first edition was 506 questions. The second, from the second edition on, we got 1,019 questions made directly to the spirits and get the answer also directly. But those questions was made by Kardec and answered by the spirits all over the world. So Kardec got letters and messages from all the countries together. He was making the questions over here, and the answer came 3 or 4 months later from somewhere in the world. So it was very, very interesting. And also the Heaven and Hell's book was the same idea, questions to spirits and answering from the spirits.
I just want to add that the questions were like sent to mediums, which are the intermediaries between us, human beings, and spirits. And so Kardec contacted mediums all over the place. He didn't just use one medium. It was the work very in various places around the world. And Kardec sort of sent the same questions to everyone, but then he had the work of studying the answers, and so when the answers matched, then Kardec took those answers as being the real ones.
So this is the way Kardec worked to get all the codification done. And this, the third information over here on the presentation is the book's purpose is to study the human being destination after the body's death. So it's something very important because until that time, Kardec was talking to the spirits and getting answers, of course. But what about the ordinary people? Me and you and everybody. What's our destination after that? What happens? This is some questions we have today, and that's why we are studying this book, which is very interesting. And we're going to discover a lot of details. It's for sure there are a lot of small details that we've never thought about. So something that we're gonna discover, like, oh, I've never thought about that. So I could not imagine that there's something happens after that. So we're gonna have some testimonials from the spirits that they incarnate, and there is an interesting case that is Martha's favorite. Is the case of Samson, that after 8 hours of disincarnated, he gave communications at the French Spiritist Society, and it's very interesting. We're gonna see in the book in the middle of the book, or I'm not sure. So the fourth one is Allan Kardec's title refers to the church teachings that believes in two places called heaven and hell. At that time, at the time of the codifications, until today, there are many people that thinks there are two destinations, just two way to go after that, or you go to the heaven or you go to the hell. So
What's happened with me after death, because the people make mistake, and sometimes big mistake. And what's happened, where, how, I don't know
what?
what.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're gonna find outside
Yes.
after death. Yeah. So this is very important. Some questions we do to ourselves to understand and to learn, of course, and be prepared. We are not rushed, but we must be prepared for this moment.
I think one of the greatest things that attracted me to Spiritism, before I met Spiritism, I didn't belong to any religion. I never practiced any religion because I couldn't find myself in part of any religion who just preached heaven and hell, because I couldn't see myself in heaven. I never imagined that after this life I could go to heaven, because heaven to me always seems something really, really far away from where I found myself. But I didn't want to go to hell either.
Yes.
I thought, there must be something in between, because hell just seemed really, really horrible. And so it really brought me a lot of fear, just to have these two options. And so when I met Spiritism, and Spiritism brought all this news, and I thought, right, this is what I was looking for, because these places me in a position that I will heaven is far away from me, but it is something I can work towards. And even if I go to hell, I can get myself out of it. I'm not going to be there forever. And that is really, that's really sort of made all the sense to me, that I didn't have a God, a father that I would call a father who would punish me forever. And so I think Spiritism really brought me this certainty that I needed, that it's all up to me. And even if I go to hell, I can leave hell. I can get out of it. I'm not going to be there eternally.
Yeah, this is very important.
Stay in heaven is wonderful, not forever. But stay in hell is not good.
No.
So that
Forever.
we understand. Yeah, we understand that this beliefs was implanted by the church just because to dominate by fear. So the most powerful tools for domination is the fear. If you fear something, and if your family fear and is afraid of something, it's something that we gonna take a lot of care, because we can imagine if someone says, if you do that, you're gonna go to the hell and suffer eternally. And even if you say, I don't care, I go to the hell, but your family is gonna be desperate, trying to get you back to the way, just because they don't want you suffering forever. So that's why this fear was used for domination by the church. And so when I talk,
Yeah, this was just something I was thinking about, Andre. That when we only have these two options, it's not fair, because I was thinking exactly about family, because Spiritism gives us the certainty that we can be together after we die, and even if we don't go immediately to be together, to stay together after we pass, we can work towards it, and we can visit each other, and that is just so perfect and just. And then I was thinking, if we have who have our family, if we, like, our children, go discarnate and go to somewhere, that it's not, that they can't be together, or I am the person who goes somewhere who can't ever see my family again. This would be really unjust for us, if God had created us to separate us like this. And I think that Spiritism reassures us that we can be together again. And even if, I know there will be people who say that they wouldn't like to be together with some members of their family, but we also have to understand that we are all on the path to develop love, and to love one another. So even if we are going through a phase in which we are not, we're having difficulties with our families, that we are not loving each other. The aim is that love is to be found, is to be born between us, because this is what Jesus asked us to do, to love one another.
that's right. And also you talk about the God's justice, and we understand that all of them, we make mistakes, we fail sometimes. So it was very unfair from the God side if I make a mistake only once in my life and I go to the hell forever.
Yeah.
So this is something irrational. It's not something that we just understand, and the human mind, or even the God's mind, could explain why I'm going to punish my son forever just because he made one mistake. So this is something that brings to us consolation and hope. So once we understand, once the doctrine of spirit brought to us this new world, new way of life, we start to understand in the beginning, the first beginning of the God's justice and fair. So this is something that shows us that God's love, God is fair, God is taking care of us, and is giving us all the time opportunities, reincarnation after incarnation, and to fail and go back to repair, fail again, repair again, and progress. This is something very important that brings this book and all the Spiritist doctrine brings to us. So, going ahead with the presentation, all information that we got over here is Allan Kardec used tenth of hundreds message received from disincarnation spirits around the world, as we 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 mentioned before. It's good to remember that all codification is based on the Incarnate Spirit's testimony. So this book is pretty much based on all the testimonials from the spirits. Kardec asked, "What you see after that? What did you see after your funeral, your burial? How do you feel at that time?" So it's very important because the testimonial is in the first person. I felt like that. I was like that. I was there. I saw that. I was drove to this way, that way. Someone was waiting for me. I saw that mention, or I saw nothing. So it's very important because this book brought to us testimonial in the first person. It's not something he did that or she did that or someone saw somewhere someone. No, it's the first person. We're gonna see a lot of spiritual sayings. I was there after my death, after the death chamber. I saw my body this way. I saw my spirit is this way. I saw my parents and all the relatives around, and we're gonna see happy spirits and sad spirits and neutral. So this book is very interesting because we're gonna see everything that happened after the bodies after the disincarnation. So the next one is in this book, Kardec called up different spirit classes and got information about the destiny after the body's death. That's what we mentioned. There are testimonials from happy, sad, and neutral spirits. So I think I'm not sure, but I think the book is split in two. It's
Yes, it is. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of information come from. So the last one is let's start our study. Let's go to the book properly. So anything you wanna talk before?
No, I haven't got anything to say.
So we're gonna start. Go ahead.
Kardec, in this book, said about angel,
Demons.
and I forgot the words, but
Where is it?
Oh,
Yes, they say here, Marta, that they talks about demons, hell, eternal punishment,
yes,
purgatory, fear of death, and about the prohibition that the Mosaic laws
Yes.
imposed upon people about evoking the spirits.
yes,
so it's a very complex study about all this culture now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got this. I don't know if this is the first thing you saw in your books, but this is the first thing that came out on my books: Heaven, Hell. So say Divine Justice, just according to Spiritism by Allan Kardec, a comparative examination of doctrines concerning the passage from the corporeal life to spirit's life, concerning future punishment and reward, concerning angels and demons, concerning suffering, etc., followed by several examples regarding to the true situations of the soul during and after death. So this is by Allan Kardec. Yeah, it's something that is just abstract of what we already said.
Yes. This is what I have in my book too.
Yeah, there are a lot of translations, different translations. Some of them put the words from the translator. Some of them doesn't consider these translator words. So yeah, there are a lot of different translations. So the part one of the book is doctrine. Chapter one is the future, life, and nothingness. The second chapter, the fear of death. The third chapter is heaven. Chapter fourth is hell. The chapter five is purgatory. Chapter six is the doctrine of eternal punishment. Chapter seven is future punishment according to Spiritism. Uh, the eighth is angels. Ninth, demons. So chapter 10 is the interventions of demons in modern communications. Chapter 11, the prohibition against evoking the dead. So there are more, but we're gonna stay on the part one for now. I'm not sure if we're gonna go further on part one, because there are a lot of things when we start, a lot of things we're gonna comment, we're gonna talk about. So I hope we go more and more deeper at this book and all the thoughts we can see. So just going back to the doctrine, yeah, we already mentioned the doctrine in spirits. It was codified by Kardec, and this the Spiritist doctrine is based on 5 books, which is the Spiritist book. The second one is the Gospel, according to Spiritism. The third one, the Medium's book. The fourth one is the Heaven and Hell. The fifth one is the Genesis. So all of them in the very sequence of teachings, just to make easy all the understandings, all the things you're gonna learn. Yeah. So okay, let's go to I think this is the first item, the future. First chapter is the future, life, and nothingness.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading. We live, we think, we act. That's certain. And we die. That's no less certain. But where do we go when we leave this earth behind? What it be like for us after death? Will we be better off or worse? Will we even exist or not? Being or not being? Such is the alternative. Forever or nevermore? All or nothing? Will you live forever, or will everything end once or fall for all? It's even worthwhile to think about this. So this is some questions that moved Kardec around the.
Being or not being, it's Shakespeare. Yes.
Yeah, be or not to be.
Be.
So yeah, there are a lot of questions about the life that we have already. We still have around us, and we always wondering about those questions. So the first thing, because we are so immersed in the spiritism, that the concept of the life ending with the death, it's not for us. It's not even passed through our mind. So we don't think about that. But many people think about that. Many there are a lot of discussion, and I can imagine at the time of the codification, at the 19th centuries, in 1850s, 1860s. So many people thinking about what happens after that. even because this book came out in France, and France just at the time that just France just passed it through the French Revolution.
Yeah.
Many people were killed by guillotine, and it was very normal. It was like a TV show to see people dying, losing their head in the public square. So many people were thinking, what happens after this death? Why many people, most of the people that was killed by guillotine was very important people, many intelligent men that for some reason was condemned to the death, but it's not something that these people was prepared all the life, pass through the life, discussing, fighting for something, fighting for one idea, or trying to understand something, and suddenly everything stops and end up with nothingness. So I think this is the main idea of the that brought Kardec to study and start to questions many questions.
I think I like how it starts, because as it says, we live, we think, we act. That is certain, and the next certainty is that we will die, and we cannot get away from this certainty. This is the only thing that we cannot think about changing. All of us will come at some point of our lives, that will come to the end of our life here in the world. And I think that, to me also, because we know about all of the different places we find ourselves in the world, isn't it? You've just said, Andre, that many of those men who have died, they died of terrible deaths, and they were intelligent, important people. And so when we think about that, and if those people were people who believed that they would go to heaven because of the positions they occupied, we also have to think about the others, isn't it? Those people who were also occupying a more sort of humble place in the world, who are still like that today, and how what happens to them. And so, to me, it was really, really puzzling when I started thinking, asking these questions. Why is it that some people die so young? And if we are thinking about those who are committing crime, and who we think everyone is going to die, but what happens then to all of these people, and to all of us? And to me, it never made sense that these punishments that we were learning, that we first learned about through the religions that are dogmatic, it never sounded to me very fair. I thought it was, if God was my father, was father to everyone, creator of everyone, why were we treated like that? And if we had different opportunities in life too, because this is what happens, isn't it, in our lives here? We are all going through different experiences, so it doesn't really sound fair that someone who is like um, going only know a life of hardship, that they wouldn't be able to experience a different life. And so to me that's never made sense. And so when we start asking these questions, and then Kardec starts questioning the spirits, and finds that life carries on for everyone, and everyone, through the justice of God, we all have the same opportunities, because there is, we also don't believe, we know that we come back, we reincarnate, we don't believe anymore, we are certain that that is what happens, that is the case, because science is nearly there proving to us that this is the case. And Kardec has already done this job many years ago. And so I think this is just, as you have said, for us who are spiritists, we don't think about much about dying, because we know we are not going to die. We just do a transition, go through a transition, like we do the same transition when we arrive here in the world. And so fairness um, is what the law of God brings us, is that everyone has the opportunity to experience the same things, being rich, being poor, or like going through, like taking different, living in different countries, speaking different languages. So to me, this is just amazing. This is another um, amazing truth that spiritism brought me, that makes my life so much better. And I know that I am a child of God who is as loved as everyone else.
That's right. Yeah. uh, this the certainty that we are not just end up in the gravy. It's something that brings hope to us and happiness, as you said, Lindalpa, because we're gonna meet our relatives again, and our good friends, the people that really cares for us. So this is very, very beautiful message that these books and the Doctrine and Spirit brought to us, and make us living more relief. I mean, more happy and full of hope. So the time is going, as we combined before. Now it's time for the book. The,
Yeah,
did you get any
I
books?
have got two books here, Andre. If you would like me to open one, I have got Our Daily Bread and The Pathway to Truth and Life.
Yeah, the Daily Bread. It's
Okay. I have opened on a message called The Cross and Discipline. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way, and they forced him to carry the cross. Mark. Many students of Christianity disagree with the documented history on the cross, alleging that the reminiscences of the Calvary constitutes improper culture of the suffering. They affirm that the memory of the Master in those last hours of the crucifixion, amidst vulgar evildoers, is a negative one. But we are of those who prefer to visualize every day in the life of Jesus as a glorious journey, and all of the minutes as divine parcels from his sacred ministry, ahead of the necessities of the human soul. Every hour of his presence among the people is characterized in a particular beauty, and the instant of the shameful cross is replete of majestic symbolism. Various disciplines wave extensive tales regarding the cross of the Master, and they usually examine with theoretical particulars the imaginary logs they carry along with them. However, only the one who has actually shouldered the cross of redemption, that is his responsibility, is the one who has achieved the strength of denying himself in order to follow in the footsteps of the Divine Master. Many persons confuse discipline with spiritual illumination. Only after having accepted the gentle yoke of Jesus Christ will we be able to raise the cross of the shoulders, which will concede us the spiritual wings for eternal life, against the arguments, which are usually useless, of those who did not truly comprehend the sublimity of the cross. Let us observe the example of the who from man from Cyrene, in those culminating moments of the Savior. The cross of Christ was the most beautiful in the world. Nonetheless, the individual that assists him does not do so with his own volition, but rather adhering to an irresistible requirement. And even today, the majority of individuals accept the obligation inherent to their duty because to these they feel obliged. And that's it.
Yeah. So let's make any comments to the message, or
I think the obligation, isn't it, that talked about at the end, uh, and and um, and when we also accept accept things, isn't it? This is when we will truly um make changes to our lives rather than just repeat things because this is how it is done. Each one of us have our own obligations and we have our duties, and we need to think about um, that the fact that we need to each one of us follow the footsteps of Jesus, because Jesus carried a cross that was very like a wooden cross, but many times we carry invisible crosses, isn't it? Through what the problems that we face in life, it feels that we are carrying a heavy cross too, except that it is invisible. But we we have to accept and go through those problems like Jesus did, carry his cross until the end, and then with resignation we will get rid of some of that weight, hopefully.
yeah, it's the message sent by Christ when he was carrying the cross is the that we need to accept at some point our problems and carry on. And because if he didn't pass through those trials, uh, probably he could not send the message he sent to us, that we must be humble with our problems, which, as you said, The cross is not made by wood, but it's invisible cross, and try to carry it with dignity and love, and with the heart full of hopes to better days and better times that comes. So this is for me, that's the message sent by the cross. And uh, this message must be in our mind all the time, because sometimes we fail to think about that, just because we think everything is not good. And I talk about me because I'm this way sometimes. I'm sad just because something's wrong, just a small thing that doesn't go right, and I just say, "Oh, God's not good for me," or "Jesus not help me. I don't have a protector," or something like that. And when we remember that Christ passed through all those trials and difficulties, so we think, just like I'm not suffering. This is very easy to pass through compared to what Christ passed at that time. So it's a very beautiful, sad and beautiful message sent by the cross at that time. Anyway, uh, yeah, yeah, we are in the end.
And
So I'm gonna ask you again, Lindalva, to pray for us.
Yes. Okay, I will, no problem. So, with our hearts full of gratitude to our Master Jesus, as we start this meeting, very close to the day we have celebrated Him coming back from death, reassuring us that He is alive, that He has survived the suffering that His physical body endured, and He showed Himself the same way we, with those who saw Him physically, who were around Him. So this is also how it will be done for us. We will be able to keep our appearances, the appearance of our physical bodies that we wear today, when we are no longer here, part of this physical world. And we thank you, Master, for all the sacrifices you have made to teach us to live a better life, because life is what we have been given. Death is just it's just a return. It's just the end of a journey, but not the end of everything. We end this journey, the physical journey, to enter the spiritual journey. And subsequently, as we need to evolve, to find the light that is within each one of us by becoming a better person every day. And so, Lord, we thank you so much for allowing us to meet in your name. We thank Kardec for the hard work that he has put in codifying the Spiritist teachings, so that today we can learn about our spiritual lives, and as well as how to live a better life while we are here. We know he has gone through so many difficulties during his time, but we are so grateful to all of those who worked so hard to put these teachings together, that are today what guides us, what brings us happiness, and also to go through the difficulties we also have to endure. We thank our Father for his justice, a justice that is not just for some, but for all of his creation. And we ask you, Lord, to bless our world at this moment of difficulties everywhere. We know you are around us. We can feel your light. We can feel you holding us. And we ask you that your light may embrace the whole of our planet, especially in those places where there is fight. There is so much violence going on at the moment. We ask you to bless our brothers who are lost, who are not finding a positive case to live for, a positive reason to live for. And we ask you to guide all of those who are feeling very down, who are not, who are feeling lost, so that they may find that life is the most beautiful thing we have received, and that all of us are loved and cared for. And we thank our spiritual friends who have come to help us during this meeting. We ask you, Lord, to bless all of us who are present at this meeting, physically and spiritually, and ask you to bless us all for the week to come until we meet again. So be it. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you all. Yeah, see you next time.
See you next time, Andre. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great. Bye, Martha. See you
Bye.
next week
Bye. See
too.
you. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye bye.